Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dang Shang. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Hong Kong, which took over a century to develop into the Pearl of the Orient, has faced a bleak and oppressive environment since the passage of the Hong Kong version of the National Security Law. Do you know that this entire situation was sparked by a tabloid novel about Xi Jinping's lover? Are you familiar with the multitude of bizarre stories hidden within this narrative? In the span of just 10 days, from October 14th to 24th in 2015, a Hong Kong-based publishing firm known as Mighty Current Media Corporation and its subsidiary Causeway Bay Bookstore faced an extraordinary crisis. 4 high-ranking executives and shareholders vanished under mysterious circumstances. These individuals included Lu Po, the general manager of the bookstore, who disappeared from his residence in Shenzhen; Gui Minghai, a shareholder abducted from his apartment in Pattaya, Thailand; Zhang Zhiping, the business manager who went missing in Fenggang, Dongguan; and the Lam Wing Ti, the manager who was taken into custody while crossing the Lo Wu border checkpoint. 2 months later, the company's last remaining shareholder, Li Bo, also disappeared after receiving an enigmatic phone call on December 30th. Shortly after their mysterious disappearances, all 5 individuals reappeared through official channels, both in mainland China and abroad. They made public confessions via media outlets like CCTV, Phoenix TV, Xingtao Daily, and the paper. Li Bo in particular claimed voluntarily to have returned to the mainland to cooperate with the investigation. Among these individuals, Gui Minghai, who held a Swedish citizenship, was detained and subsequently sentenced. Meanwhile, the other 4 individuals later returned to Hong Kong. What's even more noteworthy is that all 4 of them denied ever having gone missing. They simultaneously requested the closure of their cases by the Hong Kong police and asserted that they did not require assistance from the Hong Kong government. How could a seemingly inconspicuous publishing company become entangled in such a peculiar case, and what monumental secrets might be concealed behind it? We are all aware that Hong Kong's publishing industry has a long history of prosperity, especially during the colonial era. It gave birth to numerous renowned cultural figures. Even after the handover in 1997, when Hong Kong fell under Chinese Communist Party control, it still retained the facade of one country, 2 systems, providing a certain level of protection for press freedom. In this unique environment, Hong Kong became the primary hub for publishing politically sensitive books related to China. Many rumors and content concerning China's political landscape, particularly within official circles, were disseminated through publications originating in Hong Kong. In the politically stifling environment of mainland China, these books, regardless of their factual accuracy, serve as a rare window and avenue for many mainland residents to gain insights into politics. Therefore, before the anti-extradition protests, many mainland tourists visiting Hong Kong would also buy a few banned books to peruse, since such materials were off limits within their home country. The significant demand for such reading materials among domestic and overseas Chinese has given rise to numerous publishing companies and bookstores in Hong Kong specializing in politically sensitive books. Mighty Current Media and its subsidiary Causeway Bay Bookstore were prominent examples. They frequently published accounts of high-ranking Chinese Communist Party officials and distributed them to mainland and overseas Chinese through various channels. To be candid, these books are not rigorous biographies or scholarly works. They somewhat resemble the popular genre known for its sensational content. Among them, you will find some containing factual information, but many rely on speculation, requiring readers to exercise their judgment. In the times of Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao, these kinds of books were already widely available and incredibly popular. Stories about figures like Jiang Zemin and Song Zuying, or narratives involve Hu Jintao's daughter and son-in-law, enjoyed a moment in the spotlight. The CCP leadership was fully aware of the existence of these books, and they were somewhat displeased. However, given the one country, two system policy and the necessity of upholding certain appearance, they had no choice but to tolerate these circumstances to some extent. The presence of a free publishing environment in Hong Kong has served a purpose for the Chinese Communist Party as well. During internal power struggles among the CCP's top leadership, they often used the Hong Kong-based publishing companies to release unfavorable information about their rivals. Some topics that couldn't be openly discussed within mainland China found a voice through books published in Hong Kong. For instance, former Premier Li Peng, in an effort to absolve himself of responsibility for the Tiananmen Square incident, planned to publish his Tiananmen diary in Hong Kong, which was later also published in the United States. This tolerance of politically sensitive book publishing in Hong Kong was an essential factor for the CCP leadership. However, everything changed when Xi Jinping assumed power. In 2015, it was the period when Xi Jinping assumed the leadership and initiated a sweeping anti-corruption campaign, purging political adversaries and cementing authoritarian dominance within China. Domestically, Xi Jinping routinely employed allegations such as disparaging the central government and inciting trouble to suppress dissenting voices and critics. This included the infamous 709 crackdown on human rights lawyers, which resulted in the arrest of numerous lawyers across 23 provinces. On the international front, Xi Jinping aimed to set an example and send a warning to others, and the Causeway Bay Bookstore became the focal point of this crackdown. In 2015, the Causeway Bay Bookstore planned to release a book titled Xi Jinping and His Lovers. The author Xino, a Chinese-American specialized in providing Hong Kong's booksellers with political-themed works. Xino had previously written about figures such as Bo Xilai and Zhou Yongkang. Xi Jinping and His Lovers was essentially a commercial venture. Xino conducted interviews with immigrants from Fujian and Zhejiang residing in Flushing, New York, as Xi Jinping had held leadership positions in these regions. Using these interviews and local rumors as source material, Xino wrote the book, which primarily delved into the romantic entanglements involving Xi Jinping, his 2 wives, and 8 mistresses. To be honest, the book fell into the category of tabloid literature and gossip fiction, featuring many sensational and far-fetched elements. In truth, it was meant for entertainment rather than to be taken seriously. Causeway Bay Bookstore had previously published numerous similar books, primarily for profit, devoid of any political motives. Such books were abundant in Hong Kong bookstores, numbering too many to count. Unexpectedly, this piece of tabloid literature caught the attention of someone who took it seriously, and that someone was Xi Jinping. Following the publication of this book by Causeway Bay Bookstore, it promptly caught the attention of China's national security agencies. Shortly thereafter, 5 individuals associated with the bookstore mysteriously vanished. In any nation, intelligence agencies may execute operations, but they typically lacked authority to make decisions of such magnitude. Conducting cross-border operations involving individuals with foreign passports, such as Gui Minghai, who possessed a Swedish passport, would likely require approval from the highest-ranking leadership. Thus, it is safe to assert that the overseas abduction operation was unquestionably sanctioned by Xi Jinping. Lam Wing-Ki, a central figure in the Causeway Bay Bookstore incident, spent 6 months detained in mainland China. Chinese national security authorities had urged him to return to Hong Kong and bring back customer information from the bookstore, with plans to arrest those on the list. However, shortly after his return to Hong Kong, Lam Wing-Ki decided against jeopardizing others or himself. He broke his silence by convening a press conference and publicly sharing his harrowing experience with the Hong Kong media. This event rapidly sparked significant outrage in Hong Kong. According to the One Country, Two Systems framework and the Hong Kong Basic Law, mainland Chinese public security or national security entities do not possess law enforcement powers in Hong Kong, particularly for illegal abductions, which effectively constitute criminal activities falsely conducted under the banner of national authority. Despite Hong Kong's return to Chinese sovereignty, it remains a special administrative region without an extradition agreement with mainland China. Any legal matters in Hong Kong should be addressed by its own judicial institutions, and mainland Chinese law enforcement agencies have no jurisdiction. Furthermore, according to the Hong Kong Basic Law, engaging in political expression such as writing books is not considered a criminal offense and should not be subject to external interference. While Hong Kong's freedoms have gradually eroded since the handover, during the Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao eras, there was an attempt to maintain a semblance of balance and employ strategies of deception when necessary. However, under Xi Jinping's leadership, there is a blatant disregard for Hong Kong's autonomy, and the One Country, Two Systems principle has been abandoned, allowing mainland-style tactics to be applied without restraint. Hong Kong residents had already been simmering with discontent due to issues like universal suffrage and the contentious Article 23 legislation. The umbrella movement in 2014, which saw the participation of around 1.2 million Hong Kong citizens advocating for universal suffrage, but ending in suppression, left many Hong Kongers deeply dissatisfied. When Xi Jinping's actions further exacerbated the situation, it ignited a response from the populace. Following Lam Wing-Ki's revelation of the truth, more than 6,000 Hong Kong residents took to the streets, staging protests outside the liaison office of the Central People's Government in Hong Kong. They vociferously condemned the CCP for undermining the One Country, Two System principle and encroaching on Hong Kong's cherished freedoms. This incident ranked among the top 10 human rights news stories in Hong Kong in 2016 and garnered global attention, with criticism of the CCP and Xi Jinping pouring in from various quarters. In response to pressure from the Hong Kong populace, Hong Kong government officials visited Beijing in early July 2016 to engage in discussions with the Chinese Ministry of Public Security regarding the Causeway Bay Books incident. Their primary request was to enhance the communication mechanism between mainland China and Hong Kong. At that time, Hong Kong's Secretary for Security Lai Tung-kwok asserted that all coercive law enforcement measures employed in China held no legal authority in Hong Kong. Additionally, he highlighted the absence of any extradition agreements between the two regions. However, subsequent events revealed that they had oversimplified the situation. In the context of the Causeway Bay Books incident, the CCP found itself lacking legal and judicial legitimacy. Consequently, the CCP began exerting continuous pressure on the Hong Kong government following the incident. Their goal was to address the legal constraints on law enforcement in Hong Kong by attempting to circumvent the extradition mechanism, thereby legitimizing overseas law enforcement activities. The establishment of an extradition treaty would grant the CCP legal authority for its actions in Hong Kong. However, this proposal fell outside the framework of the Basic Law. Although the Hong Kong government yielded to Beijing's pressure due to public dissatisfaction, it lacked compelling reasons to actively promote the extradition arrangement between the mainland and Hong Kong. Consequently, the mainland Hong Kong extradition arrangement remained on hold for a period. Unexpectedly, an opportunity to advance this matter soon presented itself. I will explore this unforeseen opportunity further in my upcoming program. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.